I never attacked him on his look, and believe me, there's plenty of subject matter right there. That I can tell you.
I know Ben doesn't think that about me. I'm sure he was talking about one of the other guys, not me.
But the simple fact is...
Excuse me, 1 second.
No.
I didn't want to...
The simple fact is, Donald, you cannot take...
More energy tonight. I like that. Look.
And so I do give interviews in Spanish, and here's why. And if they get their news in Spanish, I want them to hear that directly from me, not from a translator at Univision.
The issue occurred in 2003. I suggested to President Bush that he not go to war. Okay, so I just want that on the record.
So 40 years ago, I smoked marijuana, and I admit it. I'm sure that other people might have done it and may not want to say it in front of 25 million people. My mom's not happy that I just did.
I think you're going to see a big impact on autism.
Dr. Carson, you just heard his medical take.
He's an okay doctor.
Ever ready. It's very high energy, Donald.
I think he was a little angry with that low five. I'm not sure.
He's got some energy in that.
And a little bit later, we're going to talk about autism. And I actually think Donald Trump did not do that badly when it comes to this. But, Steve, you have a very important panel.
I do indeed, Brian. Thank you very much. And Elizabeth as well. But a lot of voters want to know who is going to keep America safe and strong. Joining us right now, we have formulated a political panel talking about foreign affairs. Gillian Turner is a Fox News contributor. She served in the White House National Security Council staff under both President Bush and President Obama. Lee Carter from Meslansky and Partners, and Carl Hagby, a former Navy SEAL. They all join us. And you all, God bless you all, you all stayed up through the 3-hour debate.
And we're here now.
Exactly.
It was about an hour too long, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Yes.
All right.
Kind of like NASCAR.
All right. So we're going to ask you the winners and the losers regarding national affairs, foreign affairs. Gillian, let's start with you. Your winner is?
Carly Fiorina, by leaps and bounds. I thought that she packed more substantive punch into one sentence than most of the other candidates got in the whole evening. She gets huge credit for that, pointing out some of our most important allies, like the Kurds, like the Jordanians, what we can do to help them, help us in the fight against ISIS.
You also like Marco Rubio when he said this. Watch.
Well, first of all, I have an understanding of exactly what it is Russia and Putin are doing, and it's pretty straightforward. What he is doing is he is trying to replace us as the single most important power broker in the Middle East, and this president is allowing it.
So he's your runner-up.
He's my runner-up. You know, where Carly Fiorina's got the nuance, he's got a big macro picture vision that I think most of the American people really get. And last night, he presented it very concisely, and I think that that's going to really pick up some momentum for him. We haven't seen him really step out and do that before, say, here's my agenda, soup to nuts. He did a great job of that.
All right. Lee, your winner when it comes to foreign affairs is, she's holding up the panel, another Carly Fiorina.
I totally agree with you. I think she schooled everybody on stage. She looked like she did her homework, but she was confident. She was unshakable. She gave answers that you could follow, that you could understand, and her depth of knowledge was clear.
Well, some critics this morning are saying, you know, I wish she would have smiled. She was a little on the cold side.
You know, there's no question. She needs to soften up, and that's something that a lot of female leaders struggle with. When I'm consulting women, all the time this comes across, because it's not something you would say about Trump. Is he warm? I don't think he's very, very warm, and people aren't saying he needs to warm up. But I do think that she needs to be a little bit softer and approachable so that people feel like they're going to be comfortable with her.
When they were talking about one thing, she changed the topic so that she was going to connect Planned Parenthood with Iran. How is she going to do that? Like this.
And I'd like to link these two issues, both of which are incredibly important, Iran and Planned Parenthood. One has something to do with the defense of the security of this nation. The other has something to do with the defense of the character of this nation. You have not heard a plan about Iran from any politician up here.
Gosh, when she first started doing this, I was like, this is the biggest jiu-jitsu move ever, to somebody saying this is what I want to talk about instead. But what she did was brilliant. I mean, she was able to say the character of the nation, the security of this nation, it's important to conservatives. She did a beautiful job. She went into details. She owned it. She laid out her plan for Iran, and I think she did a wonderful job with that.
Carl, your winner was, look at that.
Carly again. I think she's a powerhouse. She has continued to impress me. When she first came in this race, I was like, what is she doing here? She's not going to make a dent, and she has completely taken me off guard. She's impressed me greatly. She has articulated her stances. She's been forceful, aggressive, and I think her Putin comment was absolutely on point. I think the way she is planning to go about doing whatever she wants to do as far as our foreign policy, whoever her debate coach is, give them a raise.
Somebody else who had some interesting things to say about Afghanistan and foreign policy, Ben Carson, on the need for intellect. Listen to this.
I have no argument with having a strong leader and to be aggressive where aggression is needed, but it's not needed in every circumstance. There is a time when you can use your intellect to come up with other ways to do things, and I think that's what we have to start thinking about.
Gillian, he really had a calm, reasoned approach to everything.
He did. With this quote and some others on foreign policy, my criticism of him would really be that there's a lot of style and not a lot of substance to back up what he's talking about, right? He's saying, sometimes I'd be aggressive, sometimes I wouldn't. Sometimes I'd choose diplomacy, sometimes I'd choose military intervention, and that's great for a political scientist. But what are you going to do as the president, as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces?
Sure. Lee, before the debate, it looked like Dr. Carson was right on the heels of Donald Trump. After that performance last night, what happens to Dr. Carson?
You know, he was a strong #2 contender. He's a political outsider. People like his total contrasting approach to Trump. But he was a snoozer last night. I mean, talk about low energy. I mean,
Well, there was like a 15-minute segment where we all thought he went to bed or something. He didn't say anything.
and so I think that he was going into that debate in really strong position. I don't think people came out of it saying, I'm really excited about Ben Carson.
But as evidenced by your paddles right there, the three of you are very excited about Carly Fiorina.
Very.
Absolutely.
She, by the way, is going to be joining us a little later on, and so is Chris Christie, and so is Donald Trump.
Great.
Great panel. Thank you very much.